Hi everybody, Jessie here from jessiebanks.com and welcome back to another video. So sorry I haven't had anything for you guys in the last couple of weeks. I went to Vegas and I didn't get a chance to get anything edited before I went. But I wanted to share these guys with you. I know there's tons of videos about the Prima watercolors out there, but I got the two pastel sets. So this is the vintage pastels and the pastel dreams. I've already swatched them on their little cards here, but I have my sketchbook that we're going to do some bigger swatches on and talk about them a little bit. But I figured I would share these with you guys. I'd wanted Prima watercolors forever to try them, and I had never bought them. I do have all the Jane Davenport ones, but I had never splurged on any of these yet, so I did pick myself up these two sets. There are a couple more I have my eye on. I would really love to get my hands on like Essence and Woodlands and Odyssey yet, but we'll see what happens. I'm really trying to curb my spending because I've really been enjoying traveling, so you know, yeah, you gotta pick one. So I'm going to pull over my journal here and we're going to swatch these and talk about these and go through the colors and the pigments and my opinions and what I think of them. But yeah, we'll be right back with that. Okay, so what I have here this is one of the older versions of the sets because I had to write out the names on them. I did add the pigment colors onto all of them. Those don't come on any of them, and we're going to talk about those. But I have this one here so we can do some live swatching and some talking, and I'm just using a water brush in order to do my swatching. So the first color up is just called Brown, and it's made of PR 101, PB 27, and PY 14. Now, the interesting thing about watercolors is if they add white, they don't have to disclose it. So they don't have to tell you that there's white in these, but being as they are all pastel colors, I would bank that there's white in every single one of them. It's just one of the colors and one of the things that they don't have to disclose to you and let you know. Now, I love this color. It is, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. It is a very, very warm brown. That yellow really comes through in it. I think it's really, really pretty. And then for a cooler toned, more red yellow, we have Chocolate, which is PR 101, PY 14, PBR 48:4, and PBK 7, which is black. So they're mixing a red, a yellow, a blue, and a black to get that color. Now the next two are really interesting because they both have the same pigments. So it's PO 13 and PR 112. But what changes, oh, that's the wrong one first. But what changes them up is the amount of white that's in them. So realistically, if you had crimson and added more white to it, you could get the rose color. Because they are virtually the same color. It won't look the same even when they're washed out because we're just adding more water, not more white. And the white makes it more opaque, but it also makes it a lighter color in its mass tone. So you can see how you can see the difference. Like it's definitely way lighter than the crimson is, but it's the exact same colors. It's also, I'm going to say, more opaque, even just based upon how light the wash was over it there compared to how dark it is over it up there. But I find that they do a lot of that. It's the same pigments mixed in a whole bunch of different ways on in the same palette. You'll find that especially in the next palette we're going to swatch, the vintage pastel one. So next up is Lemonade. So it's like a pink lemonade. It's a peachy color. This one is PY 42, PR 101, and PB 27. And I really like that color. I make lots of those colors, well, as similar as I can get without adding white to it in my Daniel Smith watercolors and things of that. Then we have a pure color here. Again, I'm going to bank that it has some white in it based upon how it looks and that it's a pastel set. But this is Citrus and it's PY 83. I'm actually really impressed with how these re-wet for the price and how they paint and lift and all of that kind of fun stuff. I will have a couple of videos coming up just using these, simply because when I like to buy something, when I buy something, I like to use it for more projects than just swatching, so you guys can kind of see it in action. So those will be coming up in the following days. So that's Bumblebee, and that's PY 3. Then we have Sea Dream, which is probably my favorite color in the entire set. It's like a tealy blue color. It's got a little bit of a green undertone in it because of that PG 7. The other color is PB 15:3, which I do believe is phthalo blue green shade. But again, lots of white. That's why it is as soft of a color as it is. I'm just going to stick something underneath of this so that I can hide the glare a little bit and you guys can see the colors a little more as we're swatching these. So then I mixed up the order of the next ones, but this is Pool Party, which is just PB 15:3, which is phthalo blue. And this is why I know there's lots of white in it, because that is not just phthalo blue. But again, they don't have to disclose white in watercolors. So once you start to, that's why it's fun to pay attention to your pigments in all of the paints that you're getting, because then you know what you're looking at and what you're looking for. I mean, the colors can be slightly different and they can do different things with pigments, but you have a rough idea of what like a phthalo blue looks like, right? It's a nice, bright, vivid, beautiful blue. So then this is Paradise, which is like a minty green color. So it's PG7, PY14, and then again PB15:3. That's one of the very popular colors in this set. It's also in the next one as well, but phthalo blue is well used. This is Icy Sky. It's like a purpley blue, and it's just PB27, so I'm going to say there's a ton of white in it again. But I think it's a really pretty color. I wouldn't use it necessarily for skies, but it would definitely see its way onto like ice castles and snow hills and things of that nature. And then Lilac Green, which is a gorgeous purple. This color is stunning. And it is PR81, which is a red pigment, again with white. So that's that one. So that's the entire set, the entire 12 color set, all put together. And then you can see how you can make other colors. Like if I take citrus, and you just have to watch because you don't want to mix too many pigments together. That's why I wrote down all of the pigment colors. But if I take citrus and add crimson to it, it should be able to get an orange, a decent orange. And that would be a 3 pigment blend. It's actually leaning more red than, no, it's orange. But I think it's really, really pretty. If I put less yellow in it, it would lean more red as opposed to like a cooler toned red, more yellow red, I guess warmer toned red than the crimson is. You can also take like Paradise, which is that beautiful minty green color. And I would mix it with Bumblebee because that's a cooler yellow. And that should give us a more limey green in the middle tone. And this is all just based upon basic color theory for like primary, secondary, and tertiary colors, just to kind of give you an idea of what you can get. If you take Lilac Green, and again mix it with the crimson shade, because they are both cooler toned colors, we can get more of like dusty rosy type pink in the middle. But I really enjoy being able to play with colors and see how they dry and wash out. And if I just take some water and I make, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see the shine of this. If I make a puddle of water down here, I probably put too much water on because I squeezed my paintbrush. But if I put some water on at the bottom and just pick a couple colors to dab in, we'll see how they flow. That one stays fairly well put. Some of this could be the paper I'm using as well, because this is just a Moleskine sketchbook. It's not bad quality paper, but it's not super expensive paper either. I also like to take them, like now that I know that they aren't just bursting all over the seams, if I take them and wash them all out together and see how they blend all on their own, just giving them a little more water in there and kind of moving them on my own. That's pretty thick already. Got a little more of the pink in the middle. A little more of the blue, just to darken it up a little bit to have it stand out a little better. Then we'll let that dry and look at it once it's dry. So that's kind of where we're sitting with, wrong way, with the Pastel Dreams set right now. And then we will work on the Vintage Pastels as soon as this one's dry. So there is our Pastel Dreams colors all nice and dried up. I think it's a very beautiful palette. It's going to be great for soft flowers in the springtime and some cool winter scenes. When you take out, you got to remember that you got to look at the colors you're not going to use for certain scenes. So like if I block out those two yellows, it's a very cool looking palette. It even gets more cool if I block out those two yellows and those browns. Like that's a beautiful winter palette right there. So you gotta remember that you don't have to use everything, and like on the same note, if I take out Icy Sky and Lilac Rain and that's a very springy, summery palette. So it's kind of fun to look at things in that way too, depending on how much water you add and all of that fun stuff. So I'm going to put this one off to the side now, and I'm going to pull out the Vintage Pastel palette. I am so happy that Prima has fun, or Art Philosophy, I guess is what the watercolor line goes by now. It's still owned by Prima. But I'm so happy that they finally gave us all of the pigment information so we can get all of that. It was something that a lot of people were asking for a long time, that they weren't allowing us to have access to, and they wouldn't tell us what pigments were in it, and it was really, really odd. So now that they've given us all of this information, that's one of the main reasons that pushed me over the edge of buying these palettes, as well as this. This palette is stunning. I know I can make these colors by adding white and turning them into vintagey type tones and things of that nature out of watercolors I already own, but my goodness, this looks beautiful. Like that is stunning altogether. I love these vintagey, dirty, almost dusty tones of watercolor for flowers and things of that, especially now that we're coming into winter. These are going to be amazing for winter florals. So we're going to jump right in because I'm happy. So first up is Periwinkle. The other cool thing that they give you is light fast information. I didn't put them on here, but I did put them on my little cards. Let me show you that real quick. So I just used dots because I didn't want to draw little stars. But 1 is poor, 2 is good, 3 is excellent. So they give you a rough idea of what the light fast of the watercolor is, which is really, really nice. Like this one rates very, very low. So this one shows us the white pigment because I do believe that's the pigment that's used the most in here. This is the only one that they list the white on is Periwinkle. So it's PW6, PB29, and PR101. And then Sage is a lovely green. I love this color. I love all these colors. You're going to hear that 100 times because this was the palette that pushed me over the edge to buy it. So Sage is PY42 and PB15:3, which is again that phthalo blue. Let's grab a little more here. And is that not gorgeous? That color is stunning, you guys. I love that green. I'm going to put a little disc underneath of this again to get rid of the shine. And then we can zoom in a little bit. So it is like a grayed out green color. I think it's amazing. I love this. This palette's awesome. Golden Yellow, which is PY42 and PB29. Like I was saying in the Vintage Pastel palette, these colors all have white in them. They just don't have to tell you that. And as long as you know that and are okay with it, there's nothing wrong with buying them. Terracotta, this is like a soft pastel-y terracotta color. So it's basically what you would mix terracotta out of and then adding white to it, which is the PY42, PR101, and PBK7. So they're using a red, a yellow, and a black. Suede is a nice gray. It's got a little bit of almost a brown hue to it. It's with the yellow that's in there because it's PY42 and then PBK7, so it warms it up quite a bit. Probably should have put the heavier pigment of that at the bottom because it's going to be fairly opaque with all the white that's in there. Charcoal, or no, this is Stone Gray, pardon me. This is PY42, PBK7, and PR101. Again, a really nice brown gray color. I think they're all beautiful. I can't just keep saying that. Then we have Breezy. I really like this color. It's a nice kind of winter stormy sky type color. So it is PB29, PB27, and PY42, which seems to be a color they used a ton in this set. Like that PY42 is in, how many colors here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of the 12 colors in this set. Soft Lilac is a nice cool toned purple made of PB 27 and PR 48:4. I've never understood what the colons stand for. I have no idea. I'm going to say it's a way that the pigment is processed. Just kind of like a standardized version, maybe. That's my guess. Charcoal, which is just your PBK7. So it's a black. It's not the best black. It's not the worst black. It's black. I don't use a lot of black paint. Then we have Dark Rose, which is PR 101 and PV 23. And that's stunning. It's a beautiful vintagey like rose color, I guess. Apple Blossom, this one's one of my favorites again. I really like these soft toned pinks. So this is PR 48:4 and PY 42 again. It's a nice soft subtle pink. Oh, I'm knocking things over, guys. Knocking things over. That's what happens when we don't do voiceovers. And last up is Dusty Mauve, which is a gray purple, and you can never go wrong with gray purples. So this one is PR 48:4, PR 101, and PB 15:3, and look at that. It's wonderful. So again, you can do some basic mixing in these. You're not going to get anything real bright and vivid like we did over on the Pastel Dream side of things, because these ones definitely have more white in them, and they're a lot more muted tones than what those were, even for pastels. But if I take golden yellow and mix it with a little bit of Apple Blossom. I haven't done this before. I'm just kind of figuring this out as we go. You get more of a skin tone, peachy, fleshy color there, which is really, really pretty. What else can we do here? We can take Sage, which is our green. And I can mix that with Terracotta. Which should give us like a cooler toned color up here in the middle. I like that. That would be great for skin shadows or shadows of trees on like a stone walkway, things of that nature. You could also take, again, that, come on, that Sage. And mix it with golden yellow, which should give us a little bit of a different green. I'll put the Sage in there. But I like these vintagey colors. These always make me really, really happy. Dusty Mauve. Just because I love that color. And if I mix it with a little bit of the Apple Blossom, we should brighten her up. That's pretty, because that color's pretty. Look at that. I like that. I like that a lot. That makes me happy. And again, this one's probably going to be much like the Pastel Dreams in terms of flow. If I put a lot of water down, it's probably not going to move a whole ton in it. See? Well, that color darts over a lot more than, oh, I'm not even in screen, a lot more than the previous yellows did, so that's impressive a little bit. Stick a little Apple Blossom in the middle. And then some of that no, breezy. I like breezy better. A little bit of the breezy on the other end, just to kind of give us a vintagey primary type situation happening here. And then let them flow together and whoops. Let's see what they do. Those ones make like a really dirty purple depending on how much of each color you add in. And then the yellow and the pink together, which gives you like that soft peachy orange type color. These are going to, like I said, be very opaque in comparison to your traditional watercolors. If you paint with things like Daniel Smith, Sennelier, Springside, all of those kind of brands, because these do have a ton of white in them. I'm going to let this dry and then I'll come back and we'll talk a little more about these. Okay, so we're back. Everything's dry. Here are our colors. This is not like an in-depth review. We're not going to do a project this time. This is just sharing them with you. I had asked over on Twitter, or I mean on Instagram, if people wanted to see it, and the consensus was yes. So here it is for those of you that do. For those of you that don't, tune into the next one and we'll have some more projects hopefully. So what do I think? I like these. I didn't expect them to compare to a lot of my other watercolors because they were pastel colors, which is why I bought them. So I mean, I got exactly what I had asked for. They re-wet wonderfully. The dispersion seems very well, like they wash out really nice. They don't disperse that great in the water. I'm okay with that as long as I know what I'm getting into before I attempt to start playing with them, because I'm not going to go in and like wet a flower petal and drop it at the base and watch it expand into the rest, because that's not what these watercolors are going to do. And I'm okay with that. Artist grade, craft grade, all that kind of stuff. These are not artist grade paints. They're beautiful paints. They're fantastic for crafters. They're great for sketchbooks. They're fun if you want to play with them. In terms of doing like big, massive, over the top, hang in a gallery type paintings, I wouldn't use these. I'd pull out my Daniel Smith or my Schminke or my Senneliers or something of that nature, my stone ground paints in terms of handmade watercolors. Will I use these? A ton. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited to make some winter florals, guys. What can I say? So that's that. Here are our paints. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you very soon with another project. Bye for now.